This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. Getting ready for this game tomorrow, and hopefully a good weekend of football.
I would hope so. I would hope a win. So talk to me first about Georgia Tech. What are we going to see from Georgia Tech?
Well, you're going to see a team that's changed defensive coordinators this week because they're absolutely horrible at stopping the run. They're one of the worst teams in the country at it. And so Coach Brent Key decided this week that he had to make his linebackers coach his new defensive coordinator. We will see what kind of wrinkles that honestly causes. I can't imagine from one week to the next you're going to be able to do too much. But we'll see. We'll see that. We'll see Georgia Tech trying to figure it out on defense, and then on the opposite side of the ball, I mean, you'll see some playmakers at receiver and running back. They can score points, but hopefully, I mean, this Miami team is good enough to handle these guys. Vegas thinks so. 3 touchdown favorites. So I think this should be a Miami win that includes covering the spread, which they don't do very often, but I think they should this week.
So you're telling me Alex Mirabal is Fred Flintstone, and the Georgia Tech defense is a Brontosaurus burger?
Yes, basically. Yes, it's going to be. It should be ugly this week. They're one of the worst tackling teams in the country. Just they haven't done a good job stopping the run, and Miami's been excellent at it. They've obviously have that improved offensive line. You got a stable of running backs. You don't need just one guy to carry the ball. You've got 4 now that can beat you. So I expect Miami to win this game in convincing fashion tomorrow night.
So you're telling me I get bored again?
You get bored again? Yes, we will be. Listen, I'll tell you what. We will be turning our focus to North Carolina in a game of undefeateds pretty quickly after Saturday's game. That's going to be a potential top 15 matchup between two teams, especially if Miami's 17 right now. I think North Carolina's 14. I would imagine they'll both be in the top 15 after this weekend.
I love that Mario's brought back boredom. For those of you, by the way, that maybe, you come back and forth on the platform and you haven't picked up on the joke, but it's actually a joke that's really in brutal honesty, okay?
Yes.
The Canes are good or great or whatever, and they're playing really well. They get the bad competition and they rout them, and that it becomes boring because they dominate them, and that's a good thing. Okay, so that's why I mean it in a totally complimentary way for those of you out there who don't get the joke. Boring football from the University of Miami means that they're doing really, really good, overall. So this is the kind of game that you just kind of sharpen up because why throw it that much in a game like this, right? Why put the ball at risk that much when you've got a stable of backs? You've got a hell of an offensive line, and what the hell, you might be able to work out some of the backup linemen in the second half.
Yeah, and I think ultimately this is the kind of game where your health is a priority, right? So if you get up big at some point, maybe in the third quarter, you start to pull guys and have the backups get a lot of run in this. Certainly, I don't expect Mario to screw around. I think he's not gonna. He's going to go out there to win this game and win it in convincing fashion. And so he's going to expect the best from his guys in the first half. And I think as long as Miami does its job, they should be able to get backups into the game into the second half. So, but again, health is a priority. Obviously, Cam Kitchens is back this week after a couple of weeks off. We'll see if they get a couple of the defensive linemen who have been dinged up, the Akeem Mesidors of the world. Branson Dean, another defensive lineman who's missed a couple of weeks now. We'll see if we get those guys back in the lineup. If not, maybe they get held out till that game in Chapel Hill. So I'm hoping for health, because they're going to need it. Up until this point, you've been able to win games with backups. North Carolina's a good team, and they just got Tez Walker back, who's their best receiver. He just got cleared to return. That was some big news yesterday. So that matchup is going to be really, really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, this is where now things start to get interesting over the next few weeks, for the Canes. Now that we got out of the early part of the schedule, and now we're getting into the ACC part of the schedule, and we can't wait for some of those, tougher matchups overall. So it's good. Health wise, how are they so far?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Dean and Mesidor. Those are the big ones I'll be looking for to see if they're back. We know Kitchens is back this week. I want to also see what happens with Matt Lee. He got dinged up at the end of that Temple game, if you remember. So we'll find out if he's 100%, or if not, maybe we see some of their backups in the game this week. So that we'll find out before kickoff. I'll be tweeting and looking to see who's on the sideline in street clothes and who isn't.
What was the other thing? Oh yeah, recruiting wise, this start, how's it positively affecting this? Because I would imagine that people are now seeing, hey man, what Mario's doing is finally, making a difference now.
Yeah, I mean, I think without question, you and I talked about this in the offseason. When you come off a 5-7 year, and a lot of those kids in year two, of your recruiting cycle, when you have a full second year to recruit guys, they want to see results, right? They don't want to be sold on the promise of, hey, you can come in and help us. No, they want to see the freshman that you just got come in and make a difference. They want to see the transfers you went out and got come in and make a difference, so that they see things are taking a step forward. So I think it's super important. It's super important for them to have gotten off to the start, to beat Texas A&M. Their first win over an SEC team in 10 years was huge. And now they're going to have a lot of kids on campus this week, or at the game rather, for to see what they're doing, right? To sort of prove it on Miami nights, to have the nice all black uniforms. They're going to have a pretty good crowd. People are excited. Go out there and continue to show them that this thing is headed in the right direction. And so I think they do that. They're going to, you may see them flip some kids that are committed to other programs right now. One of them is a linebacker who's committed to the University of Florida. Who's a 4-star kid that's going to be at the game this weekend. Another one's a former Georgia commitment who decommitted. Wide receiver Nye Carr, he's going to be down here for the game. You're going to have Jeremiah Smith, who's the number 1 receiver in the country, committed to Ohio State, who's told me many times he's watching the Miami closely to see how this program changes. So I think without question, he's got the attention of these recruits now. And I think if Miami wins 9-10 games this year, or sneaks into the ACC championship game, which most people still, even with their great start, are still a little, skeptical, right? Can they actually get in there? I think if they do those things, you're going to see a lot of recruits say, hey, I'm ready to jump on board. I'm ready to really be a part of this thing.
Yeah, and dude, once he starts getting to 9, for me, he's starting the overachieving part, and that'll you know what? I hope it happens, because one, he deserves it, because he's worked so hard and he really loves this university. He wants to win, but after that shit season last year,
Yeah.
He kind of needs the best season possible to forget about what happened last year, because unfortunately, the poor man owns the worst season I've ever seen for the Canes. So he needs really good stuff. It would be really cool if he could get to 9, even if he gets to the ACC championship game. Wow. We're talking ACC Coach of the Year is what we're talking about for Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, but I would say Mike Norvell probably has a case too, right? If FSU does what they're supposed to do and wins the conference, it'll be hard to take it from him.
Yeah, but he's supposed to win. That's kind of, he was fake.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
but
I mean?
FSU's been pretty terrible for a couple years now too, right? So at some point, when do you reward a guy for the overall turnaround job that he's done?
Last year, I give it to him last year. This year, I give it to
Well,
Mario.
they gave it to Mike Oko last year for doing the miracle he did at Duke. So, yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, look, I agree with you. I think Mario has to be in consideration for it. But hey, listen, you win the conference for sure. He'll be the
Oh no,
ACC coach
sure.
of
He won
the
the
year.
conference. My God. But dude, if he gets to the ACC, just getting to the ACC championship, where you were last year,
Right.
to get to that point, that would be one hell of an extreme if he's able to do it, man. I hope so, because he deserves it, man. He really deserves it. He's a good dude, man, in the end, and he means well, so that's important.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that we had this debate for years, you and I, every time we would talk, right? And we'd say, who's the right coach for this job? You and I always felt it was Mario. But so many fans, right, we would have these arguments of why does head coach experience count? Well, this is why. Because he went through the mess he did last year with those coordinators. He hired the wrong ones, and he immediately said, this is wrong. We got to change it. Al Golden was here. Remember what we went through with Al Golden and Mark D'Onofrio?
Kept them there. Yeah.
So the fact that you talk about Coach of the Year and what he deserves credit for, he deserves credit for that, for all of that, for being able to say, I made a mistake. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna have the administration help me get out of this by paying these guys to go away, and fix it immediately. And he did, and he addressed it. And for those reasons, he is the right guy for the job here.
And by the way, why did Josh Gaddis's spirit go to Vic Fangio now?
I don't know, but you're right. It certainly feels that way, right?
He inherits a completely different defense, but he wants them to put his defense. It's like, yo, bro, a lot of those guys can't do what you want. You need to adjust to them. It's like,
absolutely.
Yesterday, I go, Vic Fangio's Josh Gaddis all over again. And it's like, I'm not overreacting. It's just, I'm watching what you're doing, bro, and you won't adjust. And poor Cater Kohu last week, they're bracketing Tyreek Hill, but you don't want to bracket or put X on Diggs. Like, brother, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know what his strategy was. Maybe he was saving something for the second meeting, or who knows. But they got so freaking embarrassed that it was ugly, bro. It was ugly.
Josh Gaddis, my ass, bro. I had enough of Josh Gaddis already last year. Now I got to deal with Josh Gaddis again. That's crazy, bro. All right, follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Do what I do. Subscribe to The Athletic, baby. They always got great deals, and they got news all over, not just local, but nationwide. Manny, have a great weekend, my friend. Enjoy the football. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
All right, brother. You too. Take care.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro. And remember, when you go to Caneswear, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off if you go live at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They got pretty much anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. Oh, man, some of the new Adidas sneakers are awesome. Shirts, shoes, all kinds of stuff they got going on there. Dolphins gear, Panthers gear, Marlins gear, InterMiami gear. What else am I missing? I don't know, maybe what other heat gear. They got all kinds of stuff there at Caneswear, right next to La Spadas at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. And if you order online over $99, you will get free shipping. Use our code BIG010 and you will get 10% off at caneswear.com.